Hey guys, this evening I want to talk to you a little bit about setting goals. Setting goals is actually really important in your life. It really helps you get a feeling of being accomplished once you achieve these goals. It helps you stay busy and it really helps you just get the most out of life. Now, there's really, depends on how you want to look at it, 3 or 4 different types of goals. One I won't really be talking about today, but those are your highest aspirations. That's the way I like to tell it to people is like, if you were to die today, what would you want the world to remember you for? Those are your highest aspirations. What would you like to be famous for? Then there's, of course, long-term goals, mid-term goals, and short-term goals. Starting from the top and moving down, the long-term goals are what you want out of life. Like ultimately, like whenever you're looking forward in the future, when people ask you like, hey, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where do you see yourself in 10 years? Those are the kind of things that are long goals. Time frame wise, I usually say anything that is going to take you more than a year to accomplish is going to be a long-term goal. Some things like if you want to get a house, if you want to develop a career, if you want to build a long-lasting relationship. These are things that are going to take time. It's going to take more than a year for you to fully get this thing running. And then it's also going to require maintenance. You have to continue to work for these things after you already have them because you have to work on keeping them, right? The next thing, midterm goals, I generally say those are anywhere from 1 month to a year. Anywhere between that, if it takes you that amount of time to accomplish them, then that would be a midterm goal. These are smaller goals, and you want those goals to be kind of leading up to your long-term goals. A couple examples of those, like how I said you want to buy a house. So midterm goal to lead up to buying a house, you need to improve your credit, right? Say you want to get that career, so you'll want to learn valuable skills for that career. That's not going to be done within like a month. A lot of those take a lot of time to learn. For that relationship that you want, you have to really invest time into someone to make that relationship flourish, right? So those generally take anywhere from 1 month to a year to like fully develop. The last thing we're going to talk about is short-term goals. These are anything that you can do today up to a maximum of like 1 month to complete. These are little action items that are going to lead up to your midterm goals and eventually your long-term goals. So something that's really important is planning out what you want in general, taking the time to decide what your long-term goals are and how you're going to go about achieving those. Those are things that can be done. You could sit down today and invest maybe an hour or two into that and have like a whole list written out of what it is you want out of life and how you're going to go about getting it and your plan B and plan C in case that fails. Another important aspect of that is going to be, like, say we're talking about the house thing, learning how to budget. That's really important. These are actually goals that I personally have. So I want to learn how to budget my money so I can start saving up for that house, because it doesn't do me any good to have good credit if I don't have enough money to put down on this house, right? So I need to learn how to budget. I can't be going out and having fast food every single night of the week for every meal of the week. I can't be frivolously spending my money on video games or going out to party and stupid shit like, well, it's not stupid shit. It's good to do every once in a while, but it's not something that you can do every single day and then still accomplish your financial goals. For like your career, if it's like already in a field that you're in now, like I work in the video game industry and there's a specific branch that I want to go up, taking the time to talk to your boss, see if you can shadow or like work over there in that position to see what it is they do, and taking some time to fully understand what skills are going to be needed to work in that position is really important. And then just learning like little minute things along the way that's going to help you build your skill set so you can start getting to the point where you can Like if you ever got into an interview with someone, you can be like, hey, these are the little action items that I've been doing to help prepare myself for this career that I'm trying to start. Aside from that, onto the relationship thing, it also goes back to, planning out. It's like, yeah, sure, you can find like a person who's very physically attractive and start dating them, and then, a couple months into it, you guys start arguing because you guys are not on the same page, and then, maybe it drags out for a couple of years, or maybe it just ends right there because you guys can't get on the same page. But if you really want to build a lasting relationship, you need to take the time to figure out what the hell you want. Also, you need to figure out what it is you can provide to somebody. Why are they going to want to be with you, So taking the time to plan that out, those are your short-term goals. If you decide exactly what it is you want and you start doing these little things to get it, then that's going to ultimately lead you up to your midterm goals and your long-term goals. Now, something that's really important about all these goals and all this planning, you don't have to wait until January 1st to make these goals and make these resolutions. You can start today, January 15th, and make these goals. You can start February 26th. You can start in March, April, May. It really doesn't matter when you start. The second that you put your foot down and you're like, this is what I want, this is how I'm going to get it, that's whenever you start formulating those goals. You can do that whenever you want. It's okay to change your mind about it too. I've recently had some good friends of mine who had their career path planned out. They had everything that they wanted to do, and then, they just snapped and they're like, you know what, this is not actually what I want to do. This is not making me happy. The skill set that I'm trying to learn isn't something that I feel is beneficial to me, or sometimes I just feel like it's more of a hassle than what it's actually worth to pursue this career path. And that is 100% okay. If you've already invested time and energy into something and it turns out that that's not what you want anymore, it is okay to decide to get up and walk away from that. On that same token, if you do that with literally every single goal that you've set, that's when it becomes a problem. If you keep on changing your mind about the goals that you want or the things that you want out of life, then it's time to get back to that short-term goal of sitting down and planning things out. You don't want to plan something out that seems like a good idea at the time and you have absolutely nothing about. You want to make your plans based around what are you passionate about. You don't want to make your plans based on it seemed like a good idea at the time. You don't want to make your plans based on, well, this is something that will make this person like me if I do it. I had a close friend of mine who he decided his career path was going to be working on cars. And the reason that he decided that was because his girlfriend that he had at the time, they were making their long-term goals, and he essentially came to the conclusion that with their location and with everything else, that him working on cars would be the most convenient for their life. Fast forward a couple of months, they broke up, and he no longer wants to work on cars. He doesn't care about cars. He's not passionate about cars. He doesn't want this as a career path. He doesn't want to invest any time into it, and that's because he made his decisions based on what would make somebody else the most comfortable. So those are some things that you need to really take into consideration whenever you are deciding what it is that you want to do with your life. That's pretty much all I have for a short rundown on goals. Hopefully this helps. You have a good evening, guys.